In this video, I'll be wrapping my own bird body to turn this wet ball of skin and feathers back into a beautiful Kansas Bobwhite, and then I'll be doing something I've never done before, which is installing the bird into an existing mount in the customer's home. Now, I typically buy most of my bird bodies. Most of them are just foam bird bodies that I buy from a taxidermy supply shop. But on smaller birds, I don't mind just making my own. I think it even saves me time and money because I obviously don't have to buy a bird body, but I also don't have to spend the time to go pick them up or wait for them to be shipped to my door. I usually just use wood Excelsior. I just pack it really tight, get it a little damp, and then just wrap it really tight with some cotton string until it's the shape that matches the template. Now, it might be obvious, but I just figured I'd clarify that the templates I'm using are the actual carcass from the bird that I skinned. There's two birds on this one piece of paper, so the one I'm doing is the one on the right. Doing this ensures that everything I put into the bird, like the fake carcass, matches everything that I took out, just so that everything fits perfectly. Once again, you can probably tell, but on quail and most other small upland, I do just use the real skull. So make sure to clean it thoroughly and then just rebuild it. Now, I kind of already mentioned that this quail is going on an existing piece, but what I didn't mention is that the rest of this quail mount, there's 4 other quail on it. It was done by a world-class taxidermist. His name's Westbrook. He's won awards at the highest level of taxidermy competitions and just does really beautiful work. And so the pressure's definitely on for me. Craig actually was the one who taught me taxidermy several years ago. He is a really great guy, a really great teacher, and I really do look up to him and his work. And so it's kind of a cool experience, being able to put my work next to his on the same piece. I definitely have a long ways to go before I'm on Craig's level, but I do feel confident that my work's good enough to put next to his, and most people will be able to look at the piece and see the beauty in the art and the birds, and not be able to tell the difference between the quality of work. With that being said, if you are interested in learning avian taxidermy, look up Avian Art Academy. That's Craig's school. You will not be disappointed if you choose to take a class from him. Now, with all that in mind, I also knew that I was going to have to be installing this bird in the customer's home. And not only was that kind of something I had to figure out, but the customer also wasn't really sure how he wanted this bird mounted. Most of the other birds on the mount are standing or walking in some form or fashion. So he kind of just told me he wanted something different, something that might stand out a little bit. And so while scrolling Instagram, I came across this picture from a man named Steve Oschenslager. I don't know how to say his last name, but I'll tag his Instagram. And I just knew that I had to try and recreate this landing pose for this Bobwhite. Just to be sure, before I committed to the pose, I did a little Photoshop. And I really just wanted to make sure that this pose was going to work with the rest of the mount. And after seeing this, I think it looks just bad to the bone. Let me know if you agree. But I was just really excited to get it mounted at this point, and I was just completely sold that the customer would love this as long as I could pull it off. All right, this quail is dry. It's actually, been dry for a few weeks, so had plenty of time to dry. I need to go to install this myself. It's going on an existing mount with all the different quail species, and it's in the guy's house. It's pretty big display, so I'm getting ready, packing up my tools, and we're gonna go install this on this guy's existing quail mount. Should be pretty cool when it's all done. So let's head that way. Unfortunately, the lighting wasn't great, and I also forgot to film the install, but this is the finished product, and I think it turned out pretty freaking sweet, so let me know what you think. All right, so I just got back from installing that quail. Overall, I think it went okay. That was my first house call type install, and I definitely learned a few things from it. Basically, I didn't know exactly how I wanted to secure the quail to the piece. I knew I was likely going to secure it to one of those wheel spokes, but I was also a little worried about how basically the integrity of those spokes, if they were going to fall apart when I tried to drill or not. Um, they were pretty solid, had no issues drilling into that second spoke and getting the wire in there. I basically made a little loop in the wire, and I had bought a 1 minute epoxy to uh, put in there, and basically was hoping that it would set up quick enough to where I wouldn't have to sit there and hold it forever. If I was in the shop, I typically use like a 5 minute epoxy to give myself a little bit more working time. Um, it worked well, other than even after the minute, because it still takes an hour to cure. So even after that 1 minute, the bird kind of just wanted to shift its weight forward, and I mean, it was pretty specific. We wanted it at one angle. When it shifts forward, the angles just become they get off, and it doesn't look as good. So we ended up using a little bit of twine that the customer gave me to secure it at where we wanted it for the time being. So next time I have a situation like that, I'll make sure that I have sort of a plan to hold it in place until the epoxy cures. The customer is super understanding, like super awesome, but it is a little bit embarrassing, or I don't know if it's embarrassing, but it kind of just sucks when things don't go exactly according to plan, super smooth like you would want it. So um, these things happen all the time in taxidermy. Like I'm constantly having these issues in the shop of just things don't dry properly or aren't as secure to the attachment as you want. But when I'm in the shop, I have all the time and resources to fix those issues. And when I'm in the home of the customer, I just don't have some of those liberties, and so the pressure's on, I guess, a little bit. um, Overall, pretty happy. I'm going to follow up the customer and just make sure everything dried properly and worked out okay in the long term. And yeah, in the meantime, let me know what your thoughts on my processes are. If you have any great ideas about how I can make things easier, wrapping bird bodies, whatever it may be, anything you saw in this video that you might have some good tips if you're a taxidermist, or some good ideas if you're not a taxidermist. But I'll be making a bunch more videos. I have a bunch more in the process. I'm in the process of preparing to go to the Idaho competition. Would love to know what kind of videos you'd like to see. I'm planning on just kind of videoing when I'm here in the shop, and it gives me something else to focus on, and I enjoy doing it. So anyway, thank you for watching the video, and